YouTube, chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, chicks.
Listen, Chick Smooth.
Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Adam22 is now starting to feel the pressure from interviewing the man that was involved in Pop Smoke's death. Now, I told you guys a couple days ago, one of Pop Smoke's friends, Ross Swish, he came out and told Adam22, suck my D for this lame-ass interview. Now, Ross Swish was not the only one who called out Adam22 publicly. DJ AKADEMIKS also called out Adam22 for the very tasteless interview. Here's what Ak said.
Here in the media, we got to take a little bit of accountability, but you're already getting the bag. And you already are in the position to help control and mold how media affects this culture. Certain things you should be above, right? And again, you know, Adam's my peer, so I ain't really talked down on him. But, you know, I wonder if he knows the repercussions of what he's doing, right? When you interview Pop Smoke's killer, you basically tell and signal to the entire whole clout chasing generation, if you murder someone, especially someone with a name, you have a platform. You murder, you rob, you do anything violent to, you have a platform and a safe haven to possibly get another type of clout or career. I think that's a dangerous precedent. You kind of have to draw that line, right? It becomes slightly even more egregious when you realize, I think I paid for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, kill somebody in hip hop, a beloved figure, then gets paid to tell the story on a hip hop platform.
Now you know you did something fucked up when even TaxStone from prison is telling you, bro, I'm not an angel, but god damn, bro, you are low for this one. According to Adam22, TaxStone was in his DMs calling him out for the interview. Now, every time that you ever need to go on a long-ass rant to explain yourself and why you did something, that's when you know you're wrong. Adam22, bro, nobody asked you for this interview. Not Pop Smoke's fans, not the YouTube commenters. Nobody learned anything new from this interview. The man that you interviewed refused to answer half of your questions. He only answered everything that was already public. You only took this interview for two reasons. You wanted to be the first platform to interview him for the clout and also for the money that the interview and clips are going to generate. Here's Adam22's response back to AKADEMIKS and TaxStone. You guys get in the comments below. Do you guys believe Adam22? Does his response make sense to you guys? Post your comments below. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you guys later, man.
Okay, so I wanted to respond to some of the feedback about me interviewing Blockstar, Pop Smoke's killer. I didn't do that interview because I don't care. That's what a lot of people seem to think, is that Adam just doesn't give a fuck. That's not the case at all. I did that interview because I thought that it was an important historical record of somebody who was involved in one of the most tragic, insane stories in rap history. I knew Pop Smoke. I was texting him for probably a year. We spoke on camera for a couple minutes for Rolling Loud in 2019, like a few months before he passed. And I had a huge amount of respect for him. I'm not ignorant to what a gigantic impact he had on New York City. And I have nothing but respect for him, and definitely did not want to, you know, enrage his friends or family. I actually wanted to do a piece of content that I thought they would be able to benefit from by having this conversation, so that people could really like understand what goes through the mind of somebody who's capable of doing something like that. I think if you watch the interview, it's pretty obvious that I wasn't glamorizing it, and that I was trying to have, you know, the tough conversation with him that I thought this situation warranted. I also think that like a lot of people seem to think that I'm the first person who's ever interviewed a killer, which is completely not true. You know, all kinds of people come to mind, but let's just go with the obvious example, Terrence Gangster Williams, who I had on, and like everybody else in the podcasting world has had on. He says that he's killed over 40 people. And I haven't seen like even one single person say that I shouldn't be interviewing him. And I think the reason why is pretty obvious. Pop Smoke, famous rapper, beloved. Who did Gangster Williams kill? Like 40 drug dealers / gang members that you and I don't know. So it's kind of hard to like work up that empathy. But when you really look at it, I mean, O.J. Simpson did all these fucking interviews. I remember when Vlad took a lot of heat because he interviewed Keefe D, who was, you know, it's like an extremely analogous situation because Keefe D obviously was involved in one of the most famous murders of a beloved rapper of all time. And I thought that it was pretty impressive that Vlad stood on his principles and did that interview because it was an important story to be told. Just like No Plug, after he killed Bankroll Fresh, he went and did an interview with Vlad, and I thought that that was incredibly important. I thought it was very brave of Vlad that he actually went through with it, because that was an important interview in terms of us understanding that it wasn't like he just maliciously went and killed this dude. It was a shootout between two people who didn't get along. One person died. The person who died was the famous rapper, and so every person died. The person who died was the famous rapper, and so everybody like got on Vlad's case because he interviewed somebody that took somebody that they liked out of this world. But the truth is that that interview corrected the record for a lot of people and let them know how that situation really went down. I also think that that Pop Smoke or the Blockstar interview about Pop Smoke was like important for that reason too. 50 Cent made a whole fucking documentary where he like basically floated and lended credibility to the idea that Pop Smoke's friend Mike might have been involved in getting him knocked off. I think that that interview was like extremely important, just answering questions that Pop Smoke fans had. And I think that those same people, like, they watch that interview and they feel mad and they don't really know what to do with that anger. But the truth is that that piece of content, if you're a Pop Smoke fan, is like way more informative than anything else that has came out since he died. So to me, it was important to have a conversation. And I also I knew at that time that he was going to go do the interview with somebody else if I didn't do it. So I felt like I was uniquely capable of having a fair conversation with somebody who may have done something horrible, but ultimately at the end of the day is a human being who came out of a fucked up environment. And I think that interview tells that story without glamorizing killing at all. I hope that nobody came away with that conclusion, because that to me is pretty insane. Anyway, if you were offended by any of the clips you see, obviously probably 1,000 times as many people saw the clips as saw the full interview. I encourage you to go see it, not just because I want to get my numbers up, but because I think it's an important thing to do to understand what exactly we did when we did that interview. And also, I care about one thing. More than anything else. And that's feeding the streets, giving the streets what they want. What are the streets exactly? I mean, it's kind of a general term. I'm talking about the people in the hoods. I'm talking about the gang members. I'm talking about the YouTube commenters. There's a lot of overlap. So what they want to see is really what I'm trying to bring to the table. So, I see a lot of people who are kind of from outside the niche that I occupy, who seem very upset about this. But I know that on my side of things, everybody that I know was incredibly excited to see that interview. It was one of the most anticipated interviews of the year, because people find it interesting. It's newsworthy, regardless of if you even were invested in Pop Smoke's story. Anyway, that's why I did it. I think I did a great job. I can't take anything away from myself. Me and Remo, we killed it. And yeah, I encourage everybody to go check it out. And finally, I just want to mention this one more time. It's a lot of pick and size. There's a lot of I like this guy, so therefore this guy is bad. I'm just trying to be ideologically consistent. I got TaxStone in my DMs telling me that I'm fucked up for interviewing this kid because he killed somebody. Tax, you killed somebody. And granted, you haven't done a whole lot of interviews since. I mean, you did do No Jumper. Granted, this was back in 2016, but you did do No Jumper a week after that shit. And I'm just saying, it ain't like anybody's lining up to kick Tax out of their fucking Twitter spaces or anything, right? And yeah, Tax had one of the most influential podcasts while he was around. But at the same time, this kid Blockstar is from one of the most notorious, famous hoods in LA. So can't nobody tell me that shit ain't relevant. I just wanted to throw that in there.